Hey guys, it's Jason from Zykit, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build this glow-in-the-dark rogue fantasy box. This design starts out with some 3mm thick material. We use Baltic birch for this project, but you could also use draft board or MDF or a nice veneered hardwood ply. All of the pieces for a fantasy box can fit on about 1.5 sheets of material that is 12 inch by 20 inches. So if you have a Glowforge or a smaller form laser, this should work just fine there. Even if you have a K40, you can still cut the pieces individually on that laser. Next, I'm going to sand everything to give it a better surface for finishing. I'm going to start by painting the interior box with this beautiful Seaside blue. After the first coat dries, I like to come back and do one more coat for the inner box. Now for the fun part. To make the box glow, I'm using 3 or 4 coats of this glow-in-the-dark paint. I'll put a link down in the description to the paint that I used. For the outside box, I'm using black spray paint, but you could also use stain or leave it natural. These boxes really lend themselves to a variety of different looks. For the outside box, I like to sand in between coats. I want to ensure that I get a nice, smooth finish before I apply a clear coat. I'm just using some 220 grit sandpaper very lightly to remove any dust or debris that is on the surface. Now I'm going to take a clean rag and remove the sanding dust that I just put on the surface. Here I'm going to do one more coat of black paint and let that dry. I like to apply a clear coat of finish on top of the paint to protect the outside of the box. Lacquer, polyurethane, or shellac are all good choices for this. The back of the lid pieces will also need finishing if you want them to match the exterior of the box. Assembling a fantasy box is actually relatively easy. To start with, we're going to take the 4 pieces for the inner box and simply glue them together. I do recommend using a super glue for this process, especially if the pieces have been painted. It will help the pieces adhere together better. Now you can set the inner box aside. We'll need that later. I like to lay out all the pieces ahead of time so I know that they match with their corresponding side piece. This will help ensure a smoother glue up process. I like to start by building the lid for the box first. Gradually work your way around the box lid, attaching one side at a time before moving on to attach the colored panel. Here I'm going to apply some glue to the inside of the lid to hold the colored panel in place. You want to be careful to get enough glue around the design to hold the panel on, but not so much that it squeezes out. So just be delicate here with your application. You will want to add some weights to the lid while the glue dries. Now you can assemble the bottom of the box in the same fashion as the lid. I noticed while gluing up the box that on the edge of one of the pieces there was a little blemish. My favorite tool to fix this is just a brown Sharpie. Now you'll need to grab that inner box that we assembled earlier. What we're going to do is add glue to the inside corners of the box now. We're also going to add a thin bead to the bottom edge of the sides all the way around. You don't want to add glue in between the cutouts for this next step. If you do, when you slide the inner box in place, it will smear that glue down into the design. Now just add the lid and you've got yourself a finished Rogue Fantasy Box. To protect the bottom of the box from scratches, you can add these little felt pads that you can get at your local home improvement store. To better utilize the storage inside of a fantasy box, you can add a card tray, or a large tray like this, or several of these trinket trays. You can fit up to 6 of those in a box if you want. These are great for dice or miniatures. Or you can add this reconfigurable divided tray. Now check out the box with the lights off. I set it out in the sun for just a few minutes and then put it in a dark room and it really glows. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to build a fantasy box also, head over to Zykit.com. We got several different box designs and different tray files that you can pick up there. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Let us know what you'd like to see us build in the comments below. Thanks for watching.